Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney. We are going back into trial, now that we have more information. Defending the unluckiest man in all of Britain and Japan. Yes, that is indeed what we are doing. Ah! Soseki jump scare. This is it then, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, it's time to put an end to this now. To the miserable curse that's been plaguing Mr. Natsume. To everything. And in my own small way, I shall do everything I can to help you. I always appreciate your help, Mr. Suffering. Suffering! Soseki! Selfishly! Sidelined! Ah! Good morning to you too, Mr. Natsume. Good morning! Good morning, welcome student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire! Listen to you two, chatting away happily as if the main player of today's trial isn't here! Why would you do that? Why? Oh dear, we didn't mean to cause offense, Mr. Natsume. I thought perhaps because you had your eyes shut so tightly you were meditating, finding inner calm. It seemed wrong to disturb. I was waiting! What's the matter, Mr. Natsume? You seem different somehow today. Why, naturally, that's because I've attained spiritual enlightenment. The path of literature, you see, is a journey to discover one's own death. Or such like. That's the sort of morning conversation I was hoping for. That's why I had my eyes shut. I missed the signs, I'm afraid, somehow. You have to forgive me. And you mustn't talk of your path leading you to death, Mr. Natsume. That was just an example! Oh yes, there it is. Inner calm. You barely came to see me at all yesterday. I was sure you'd abandon me. I've returned to our beautiful long-lost homeland. I've not even been in Great Britain a week yet. Yes, well, anyway. I intend to set everything straight in court today. I'm determined to uncover the truth. I've actually reached an important decision myself. Oh? What sort of decision? I shall fill you in after the trial. Alright. It would seem Mr. Sholmes isn't coming today after all. It's a very clever message, I think. My dear fellows, you must win this battle on your own merits. It's a very clear message, I think, that he's overslept again. The great detective, my arch-nemesis. Long may he stay away, if you ask me. Defendant, and your legal representative. The trial is about to begin. Make your way into the courtroom immediately. Today, once again, we face the Reaper. And when the Reaper stands for the prosecution, the defendant's fate is sealed. But I don't believe in that legend, any more than I believe in Soseki-san's curse. The truth is hidden here somewhere, and I won't let it escape me. I have to keep believing in my client and keep fighting to the very end. That's all. Old Bailey!
Medicine Queen, I hereby decree this court to re-session. Of all the causes of the prosecution and defense today to declare the witness suicide.
Prosecution is ready. Yes, the defense is ready.
Very good. And now I call upon the secretary to order the jury, because it will not represent the will of the people of this trial. I will proceed.
Absolutely. Justice will be done, you mark my words. I feel obliged to say, I feel especially ruthless in days when my hat is sitting just right. Oh, well, I wonder if you could just adjust my hat. And please, be as ruthless as you like. Thieves deserve to die, if you ask me. Especially gas thieves. I have no sympathy for the man at all. Look, I said it yesterday and I'll say it again now. I don't have time for this. I got my own problems. Oh, may the Lord show us all the light here, and lead his flock to a righteous verdict again today.
Oh, nobody next, what can you tell us? prosecution support, please, for the court. In relation to the experimental defense yesterday, we're going to defend it to
So he does have the results. Before the prosecution delivers the black news about the black tea belonging to the blackguard in the dock. Pray, allow me a moment to savor a liquid of more sanguine. In fact, I'll defer to the good detective for the report. Here's to you, Inspector. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. As indicated by the defense, we found a bar of soap just outside the victim's window in the snow. And there was indeed a frozen reddish liquid in a little depression on top of it. Yes, that's the tea. That's what Mr. Natsume brought it him that night. Well, the brains of the yard analyzed it, and yes, you're right, it was tea. And there wasn't a trace of strychnine or any other toxic substance in it. No poison at all. In other words, the tea the defendant brought with him to the victim's room is innocent. It's in the clear.
Oh, revolution!
Okay, well there really wasn't any poison in it. That's good. As I suspected. This makes it quite clear. The defendant, Mr. Soseki Natsume, is blameless here. My learned friend is jumping to conclusions again. A typical Nipponese reaction. What? Yes, it's true. No poison was found in the few drops of liquid covered in soap on the window's edge. But, what logic is that? Would you take a drop from the Thames and conclude that the water in the ocean isn't salty?
Oh, the water is very salty, Coach.
Exactly. Unfit for drinking, just as the victim's tea was in my question. This court has already learned. Bitter was the precise word on the lips of Mr. William Shamsbury, whom the prosecution now calls back to the stand. Mr. Shamsbury. Yes, it sounds like we're going to have another confrontation about theatrical friend. Mr. William Shamsbury, the victim of a despicable crime. Oh heaven, oh hell, do you command me to remember? Forsooth, 'twas I, Shamspeare, that have a bellyful of the foul fluid given, in mine innocence.
Yes, there's a really used to these proceedings.
Using bars of soap such as this, there's steam gas was applicable, yes. Only smile and smile, and be a villain. Forsooth, 'twas I, Shamspeare, that have a roomful of the sweet fuel given. That's right, fellow jurors, don't forget, this man is a rotten thief. I haven't forgotten. Kept all that about the ice cream a tiny secret, didn't you? I should have rolled up sooner. Arrest him, I say! Arrest him at once, and let him feel the sting in my tail. Oh, indeed. By dint of vow and cowardly means have I plotted to further mine own ends. I confess, thou wouldst not pardon my sins. Of that I am sure. If you acknowledge your wrongdoing, what exactly are you doing? Cowards die many times before their deaths. And for a coward such as I, death be well deserved. But wouldn't that a still greater crime passeth unpunished? For lo, the hairy-faced gentleman of further east and Verona that contrived to poison me.
Objection!
But there was no poison in the tea found in your room. The police have attested to that. But the defense will assert is an inconsistency will quickly be cleared up by the witness's testimony. Is that not so, Mr. Shamsbury? Verily, my liege, I would most gladly speak.
Medical why it is reported apparently to your body. None was found in the tea.
The Japanese man did come to my chamber with tea brewed in a pot. 'Twas in my cup alone that the wicked miscreant secretly poured his wicked poison. Was feigning distraction in our debate, ne'er did a drop of his own drink pass his lips. When he departed by and by, I did use the tea that remained in his cup to make my coins of ice. Thus 'tis no surprise that poison be not found in the tea I did pour into the molds of soap. The poison was slipped into the cup after the tea had been poured. The normal way for poison to be administered, in my experience.
Wait, there actually be disaster poison was to mix up the cups, for instance.
But no poison bottle was found at the scene. The cause was quite simple, and Nipponese took the bottle back to his own room. The absence of a vessel containing the poison only becomes problematic when considering suicide. I knew that. By now, it should be perfectly clear. A bar or two of cheap soap. It's wholly insufficient to wash the deep stains of guilt from the accused's hands. Sirs, madams, 'tis true that I, Shakespeare, be a common thief of gas. But, listen here, ladies and gentlemen. Wherefore would I lie? Verily, I have no cause, I have naught to lose. Well, I do declare.
Thank you for your testimony, witness. That's the receipt of the cross-examination.
Yes, my lord. He's lying. Why is he lying? I wonder. Why are you a sham? It isn't your name, after all.
Hold it!
I understand that you were already acquainted with this announcement. Is that correct? I know thee not, old man. Hold to thy praises. Do I know thee, or know thee not? Methinks 'tis all I can know, that thy destiny mingles with mine. You lost me at the first thee. Sound, sir! Thou must learn the English tongue, before thou turns thy hand to lawyering. I did, but I must have missed the archaic Elizabethan lecture. Verily and in truth, 'twas a fine flavoured brew, though a drop of poison did barb its sweetness, as the thorn doth barb the sweet rose. That, dear friends, be the simple truth. Listen to Mr. Shakespeare. He seems in even better form than he was yesterday. Either that or I'm in worse form. That fated evening, after I did dine, at Grubb's Grubbery, a local alehouse of good report, naught did pass my lips but the tainted black tea. But behold, the poison was not in the tea at first. Shakespeare dance!
Hold it!
Are you saying that you saw the moment when the poison was added to your tea? To have witnessed the act, and then drank the tea. Thou dost describe the actions of a fool.
For sure.
But no one likes going thirsty, do they? Sooner would I die quenched than parched. Would I have the choice? Actually, on the night in question, the watermelon was frozen, I believe, wasn't it? Were it not for the tea, in sooth I would sooner have died frozen than quenched or parched. Right. No ice coins means no heating. The witness had more than one brush of death on the night in question, it would seem. Remind the court, Mrs. Shakespeare, as to whether the accused drank any of the tea which he brought with him. With the greatest of pleasure, my liege. Okay.
Hold it!
But the teacup Mr. Natsume drank from was found completely empty at the scene. And let's not forget the defendant's maxim. Drink tea while it's hot. I did gulp from the poisoned cup that night, and in mine agony did I writhe uncontrolled. In fits of pain I did knock the fellow's cup, and its contents spilt his blood from a gaping wound, methinks. though certainly 'twas after I had made the coins of ice from his tea. An upset cup was found. An upset cup was found at the table. The victim was slumped over. There is no contradiction. It's true, there was no tea left in either cup that we found at the scene. But still, something about this statement is troubling me. Yes, of course. I know what it is. It's Miss Natsume's wise drink tea while it's hot maxim, isn't it? No, I'm not sure that's it.
Thank you, witness. Now read to me from the good what it is that occupied you after your guest had left before you took your tea.
Probably gonna bring up the teacups, right? Nah, did a drop of his own drink past his lips. So, I guess what this evidence is saying is that this one was emptied very quickly after being poured, right? But this one sat for a while, that's why there's a line over there. I guess that's the idea, right? So that means this one was emptied by drinking on the like immediately after it was poured. This one was left sitting there for a while, and this is the one that he used to make the coins with. So Natsume drank this one, and this one was empty to make tea. Is that it? I guess that's it.
Objection!
You claim that Mr. Natsume didn't drink a drop of tea on the night in question. But that's impossible. How? Chop logic? What is this? You dark-clad fiend. The two teacups from the scene. One used by the victim and the other by the defendant. Have a clear difference between them. One that represents incontrovertible proof.
Incontrovertible.
What difference? Look at the insides of the cups. Just here, there's a clearly visible ring. Yes, a tea ring. Comma please enough.
Just stay the car to really what is the cup for a while.
And yet, Mr. Natsume's cup has no such ring.
Good lord, you're right. It's completely clean.
And pretty, sir. What makest thou of it? Exactly what Mr. Natsume told the court yesterday. The Japanese saying he quoted, "Drink tea while it's hot." That's right, yes. The jittery Mr. Natsume was true to his usual self that night and drank his tea in no time. If, as you claim in your testimony, he didn't touch a drop of his tea, a ring would have developed in the inside of his cup as well, after the several hours the tea was left standing. But, in short, Mr. Shamspeare, you clearly lied to the court. Get thee to a nunnery!
Objection!
I drink from my hallowed chalice. As a rule, I fill my hallowed chalice up to 7 times during any one trial. You might want to keep that information to yourself. Yet on occasion, tedium distracts me, and I pour more times than I intended until the bottle is dry. Your drinking habits are fascinating, but irrelevant. On the contrary, they illustrate the fickleness of human memory. To William Shamspeare. Yes, my liege. Though you previously stated that you made the coins of ice from the leftover tea in the accursed cup, Hughes cup, could it be that you are perhaps mistaken? Could it be that, yes, perhaps there was some tea remaining in the small teapot left at the scene? A fact that had vanished from your memory until now. Faith, my liege, thou art a magician. For verily, 'tis as though thou hast seen with thine own eyes that night. What? Forsooth, I was mistook. I did plan to use tea from the Japanese fellow's cup, but lo, when I looked, 'twas empty. And thus did I use the dregs that festered in the teapot, as my liege did suggest.
Objection!
And you've just suddenly remembered this now, and you made a mistake before. Are we supposed to believe that?
Objection!
People's memories are imperfect, my little friend. Which is why we rely on evidence instead. It's not like Burrow to conjure up new bullshit for the witness to use, I guess. But, I mean, it's reasonable though, right? If we're allowed to propose, like, reasonable alternatives, he's allowed to propose reasonable alternatives. And honestly, that's a reasonable alternative, right? Like, if the shoe was on the other foot, I would be doing that too, as, like, Phoenix Wright. It's not, this isn't anywhere close to, like, updating the autopsy report, you know? But in any case, it makes no difference. The victim's most recent testimony tells us two things of note. First, that the poison was put into the victim's teacup only. And second, that this spoiled cup was not the source of the insipid ice coins that bewitched the school.
The worst could make far some facts.
Furthermore, their testimony remains valid and in full support of the established facts. In other words, my cape is off. The inconsistency claimed by the defense simply does not exist. No! What does this mean then? I do declare, it means there's no issue with the gas thief's testimony. Apart from the bit about feeding gas, obviously. My lords, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I do solemnly swear, after I did dine at Grub's Scrubbery Ale House that night, naught did pass my lips, but the black tea given me by the Japanese, whose back be stooped as low as death.
You know what did you die, sir?
Why, I did partake of my favorites. A broth as would be called soup, and a leaf as would be called salad. As insalubry as a menu as the establishment where it was served. But you gods will give us some votes to make us men. Willingly would I suffer, what punishment 'tis seen fit to serve a wicked thief of gas. But I pray ye wise and noble fellows, ne'er forget a simple truth. That be one thing, and this be another. Jurors all, your humble servant Shamspeare doth entreat you. Punish the Japanese fellow for his sins. My lord! Oh, that was him. If I may speak, my lord. Yes?
Yes, Mr. Foreman?
I believe we may have been duped by the rotten defense lawyer. By me? I do declare you may be right. We all know the waif there was making coins of ice to keep himself warm. But this lawyer lad says that he's stealing gas, he deserves a dose of poison, eh? He's been leading us up the garden path, that's what he's been doing. I really never said anything like that. But what we just heard from the victim there has opened our eyes again. We've reached a decision this time, and we won't be swayed from it. What? No! You can't yet!
You're still your decision now.
Guilty!
Guilty.
Guilty!
Guilty.
Guilty! Guilty!
It's okay, Naruhodo-san, we can just do the thing. The harp sound effect. Oh, happy day! How has this happened? My lord, the defense asserts its right to carry out a dissemination examination. Typical. My learned friend is unable to accept the obvious truth.
It's true for the second submission examination immediately. There's a good court about interview. The center ground to
As always. I'm a man of logic, me. And having considered all the evidence, the defendant must logically be guilty. I do agree that gas is far too expensive. I can quite understand why the man would want to avoid paying. This stuff explodes and it can poison you. It's absolutely lethal, gas is. Gas doesn't come from free. It costs a fortune to deliver it around the city and maintain the pipes. Truth be told, the tea with my serves up on me is a little sketchy at times.
There's nothing else for us the victims' lives that night. There's no other explanation, is there?
I like how 4 of the 6 of them aren't even talking about anything related to the judgment.
Well, never mind.
No, you really should mind. Can we recuse? Truth is, our counter-argument wasn't as unassailable as we'd hoped. And Mr. Shamspeare was poisoned. There can be no doubt of that. Then, how are we supposed to turn this around? I think we need to establish the method by which Mr. Shamspeare was actually poisoned. Our only hope is to demonstrate that to the court, incontrovertibly. But that's surely almost impossible at this stage. If we don't manage it though, Mr. Natsume will be found guilty. Alright. Well, he's been playing with the gas pipes. So, good chance. Stuff explodes and they can poison you. It's absolutely lethal gases. See, you're talking about it, right? Let me press him on that. Can we please talk about the poison rather than the gas, do you think, sir? Well, if you like. I mean, to be honest, I take poison over gas every time. You take poison? What I mean is, poison can only poison you. It doesn't explode, does it? Goodness me, what are you talking about? Set him straight, please, lawyer man. Well, it's certainly true that poison isn't prone to exploding. But I think you'll find poison also can't light or heat up a room. Ah! You're right! I hadn't considered that at all. Young lawyer man. Yes? You have a good head on your shoulders. We could use someone like you as our company's legal representative. Well, I wasn't expecting to pick up more business in the middle of a trial, that's for sure. Anyway, the point is, I haven't had the best experience with gas companies in the past. Okay. He's not talking anything else about that. Alright. Let me press him on this one. I'm pretty sure this is gonna be. Does the mean that the victim could be shown to have ingested something else? You change your leaning.
Sorry, what's it now?
Oh, I was just saying, if the victim did actually eat or drink something else on the night. What's the matter with you? Sorry? I said, if nothing else passed the victim's lips that night, there's no other explanation, is there? Haven't you been listening to me at all? I feel there's an English expression about a pot and a kettle that's appropriate here. Compared to the other jurors who don't even appear to have anything to say about the case at all. It would seem that this elderly gentleman has been listening to the proceedings far more intensely. I suppose. The trouble is, he has selective hearing. Exactly. But still, his juror may well be the key to the breakthrough that we so desperately need. Yeah, almost certainly. Alright, we're gonna have to go back there. I do think that the only way we shall overcome this difficult situation is by exposing the way in which Mr. Shamspeare was really poisoned. Yeah. I'm pretty sure we can establish that. I'm pretty sure he inhaled natural gas. Yeah, I just wanted to press the last guy. So, give it a sec. No, I know how the mechanic works. I don't think there's any need. It's vital that we start trying to change these jurors' minds as soon as possible. Okay. You said he inhaled gas, but why did the report say strychnine? It's the early 1900s and poison tests aren't as reliable. Yes. It may or may not be this guy, I guess, but...
Excuse me.
Oops. I mashed it quickly. Sorry, I mashed it quickly. Guilty! No, 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 I'm not a Jolly madame. There's nothing to press. Yeah, I know. I pressed the A button.
Hold it.
Isn't like I pressed the A button when I wasn't on the right person. Okay, so it's not him. He's not giving stuff. Alright, let's stop. Let's pursue this. Can we please refrain from all this talk of gas? There's an all-out attack underway here in case you haven't noticed. Against my company's gas. And I'm supposed to sit here and take it, am I? I don't think so. She's really buzzing now. Oh, what about our wonderful fuels, explosions, and poisonings? What about electricity? What about getting electrocuted? What about that? A little explosion here and there is nothing in comparison.
Very sure it could hardly be described as nothing, madame. Nevertheless, stuff of the gas is deplorable.
My point exactly. But the gas thieves aren't even the worst of our enemies. We have far more devious reprobates to contend with on a daily basis, you know? More devious? Who, madame? You see a clear penguin pursuit is possible? I'm fairly certain we had at least one or two pursuits that were more subtle than just the direct ping in the previous times. And honestly, I don't like. I don't like it when the game's that obvious about it. You know, I like looking for it. Other gas companies, of course. Other gas companies. Not quite what I was expecting. We generate gas and we deliver it to our customers fair and square.
Indeed, no use questioning that, madame. Automotive is a exemplary gas company.
But there are other unscrupulous gas companies here in London that don't even have any gas at all. What? But if they don't have any gas, how do they go about selling it to people? You wouldn't think it possible, would you? But they steal our gas, you see, and sell that.
They steal your gas? How does this thing possible?
Gas companies like ours deliver gas to people's homes via a network of pipes. But these devious reprobates secretly disconnect our pipes and divert our gas into their own rotten pipes. Then they make a contract with the household supplied by those pipes, and take money for the precious gas that's rightfully ours, without us even knowing. Diverting gas into their own pipes illegally. What a brazen form of theft. When we visit customers' houses to collect the money from the meters, we always have to check whether or not one of these devious companies have been up to its tricks. Oh. There we go.
Excuse me.
Do you have something to say about that, juror number 3? Oh golly, you mean me? I'm terribly sorry. I was just thinking to myself. I really did catch him off guard there. Thinking about what the lady next to you was saying, correct? Well, yes. I just got a little riled about it recently, you see. Go on. An Altamont gas worker visited my house the other day to investigate the pipework. We need to ask for your cooperation whilst we carry out a secret check of the property, sir, the fellow said. So I let him in. And do you know what he did? Afraid I have no idea. Please tell us. He proceeded to take one of my lights off the wall. Then he grabbed the exposed mouth of the pipe and started blowing into it. What do you think you're doing, young man? You're giving away company secrets there. Oh please, everybody knows. But it was very nearly the death of me, I can tell you. What do you mean? I'll explain if you don't mind. As I said before, these unscrupulous other gas companies connected customers to our pipe network. Yes, but how does blowing into the pipes come into it? Obviously, there's gas in the pipes, and if it's at a fairly low pressure. By blowing air through the pipe, you can make the pressure drop temporarily. And if you do that, any lights connected to the same pipe will flicker for a moment.
I see. In other words, if a rubber in the pipe, the lights over the nation probably there is no contact of the company flicker. You can know that these devious scouters have been meddling with the pipes.
Exactly, my lord. That's it in a nutshell. It's the reason why we have teams of workers going around neighborhoods to investigate which lights flicker. The trouble is, the particular worker who came to my house didn't know the strength of his own breath. He blew down the pipe with all his might, and you can guess what happened, can't you? Well, if he blew hard, then... Wait, you mean... That's right, the lights didn't just flicker, they went out, along with the stove. Gas started pouring into the house. What a disaster. The gas supply must have been interrupted briefly because the man blew too hard, so the flames went out. I'm afraid I yelled at the fellow. Are you trying to kill us all? I said. So by disconnecting a lamp and blowing into the exposed gas pipe, it's possible to extinguish lamps and stoves, connected to the same network of pipes. And then when the gas starts flowing again, it just silently seeps into the room. Mr. Naruhodo, I think perhaps... Yes, this is almost certainly the clue that we've been hoping for. Juror number 3, the defense requests that you amend your statement to include that information. Oh, well, if you'd like. I don't mind. Well, I do! It's our company's secret method of identifying the rogues that try to diddle us. Like I said, madame, it's widely known already.
Very well. Turn over to you and amend your statement accordingly.
Yes, my lord. Although I'm not really sure what the point of all this is. Excuse me real quick, I'll rehydrate.
Hold it!
Alright, let's press this lady. This isn't the time or place for discussing the price of gas, madame. But really, think of the injustice. Air is a gas and air is free. Why should Altamont gas cost money? It makes my blood boil. I can't feel myself becoming more ruthless than ever. This isn't the time or the place to be ruthless either. If I might interject here. Yes, madame. It seems my fellow juror takes issue with the price our company charges for gas. But it's precisely because of thieves like this man that the cost goes up. Oh, what a beastly man. That unkempt mustache, those hunched shoulders, poisoning tea and stealing gas. Utterly unforgivable. No, Mr. Natsume isn't the one who's been stealing gas. I'll thank you not to go adding on more crimes. Mr. Natsume hasn't been poisoning tea either. Well, anyway, I've quite made up my mind. It's as made up as the price of gas. Ah. Funny.
Hold it!
You mean it's poisoned? That's right. It's happened a tidy few times now.
This is the most troubling indeed.
It's always days like this one when I don't get any wages. I get into tea time, see? And I see her doing it. My wife. She gets the devilish look on her face, and she slips some white powder into my cup. And you drink it anyway. I was brought up proper, I was. If someone gives you a cup, well, you drink it. And what happened to you? What did it taste like? It was god-awful, believe you me. Salty as hell. Then I think perhaps what your wife put in your tea was salt. No! So, she doesn't even care enough to poison me properly, eh? Unbelievable. That's funny.
That's rubbish.
Hold it!
Okay, there's only one more person to press before we can do the pitting. All the evidence, you say? That's right. And there's no room for doubt. It's all pointing at that Japanese man with the big mustache. Says the Englishman with the bigger mustache. Which means we need to show the man some new evidence to make him change his mind. If only we had that kind of evidence. Don't worry, the summation examination has barely started, really. Perhaps there'll be a shift in the situation that shows an existing piece of evidence in a new light. Let's hope so. To start with, though, I need to find some way out of this deadlock. Alright, so we'll have to do the pitting now. Huh. So I guess that explains the handprints, but what the heck was he doing? So I guess he was trying to poison... Yeah, he's trying to poison, or at least, like, you know, blow gas into Soseki's room, right? I think our working theory is that he's trying to chase the tenant out, or, like, kill the tenant of the upper room so that he can get that room and look for the treasure in there. So is this how he's doing it? He's manipulating the gas pipes by blowing into them here. That seems likely. So not only is he stealing gas, he's also messing with the gas pipe system. And then he inhaled some of it, I guess. But how does the strychnine come into it then? Yeah, curious. Anyway,
Objection!
the two statements clearly contradict each other.
Good gracious, this seems very crucial.
Juror number 6, did you hear what juror number 3 just said? Eh? What? Yes, of course. I heard him mumbling about something or other. There is another explanation here, I believe. Something besides Mr. Natsume's tea did, in a manner of speaking, pass the victim's lips on the night in question. What? What explanation? I wonder, did the police check the mouth of the gas pipe feeding the wall light at the scene? To see if there were any traces of poison there? I was curious to see what your floundering would result in this time. But the mouth of the gas pipe, Scotland Yard has enough to do without exploring such irrelevance. Hold it! What a piece of work is man! What are you trying to say, Mr. Shamspeare? What speakest thou? Pretty is it not strange and strange? That is what I say to thee, sir! I thought I'd been quite clear, but let me put it another way. The strychnine could have been on the mouth of the gas pipe that feeds the wall lamp in your room. And that is how the poison came to enter your body. Huh.
Oh, good lord.
That's a big jump in logic, though. Are they tasty then, gas pipes? Is that what he's saying? Or is the gentleman suggesting that the poor man was so desperately hungry, he tried to fill his belly with gas? Perhaps no actress would perform a kiss scene with him, For shame, madame, speaking thy fancy. I assure you, I'm not such a buffoon that I have to kiss pipes.
Objection!
This is no summation examination. This is a farce. The prosecution will not stand for any more of my Nipponiese friend's conjecture. To begin with, the lamp in the victim's room is high on the wall. In order to have placed his lips to the pipe that feeds him, he would have to be a contortionist. These are empty assertions. I'm throwing a second cup. There is no possible proof that the man did as you say.
Objection!
It's true. I have no proof that Mr. Shamsi put his lips to the pipe. However, I can say with certainty, that on multiple occasions, Mr. Shamsi has been doing something in front of that lamp on his wall. And I have evidence to prove it. Alright, you've got our attention, lad. I'd like to see how you can be so sure of yourself. So would I. Let's see this evidence then. Now that I've got the jury's ear, I need to make this opportunity count. This is the proof that, time and time again, Mr. Shamsi stood in front of his gas lamp. Okay, so we're saying it's not. He wasn't poisoned by gas. He was poisoned by strychnine. So somebody deliberately put poison on the gas pipe then. I think I see what's going on here. Olive Green did it, right? She put the poison on the gas pipe because she suspected that foul play was involved in killing her hubby. And like, you know, it's one way or the other. Like, if he wasn't doing it, it really was an accident, you know? And like, Shamsia wasn't actually doing anything wacky with his pipes, then he would have never actually, you would have never actually touched the pipe again and he wouldn't be poisoned, so... But if he actually went to go and do it again, you know, then he would have poisoned himself. It's like a test, I guess, right? I see what's going on.
Take that!
That seems plausible, yeah. What the? These are... Wait, what are they called? Yes, skin prints that were found at the scene.
Skin prints. I never heard of such things. It doesn't really say it's clearly assessing whether or not the perfect fingerprint is evidence in court, however.
My lord, this is an exciting new forensic technique developed by the great detective Mr. Herlock Sholmes. It reviews all the places that Mr. Shamspeare touched in this room. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, it's black magic, isn't it? Something not admissible as evidence. True. Well, if anyone could invent something like this, it's that great Sholmes fellow, that's for sure. I agree. This month's edition of Engineering Thumbs was quite fascinating. We found skin prints in many places that you would expect. On the table, on the costumes. However, Mr. Shamspeare also appears to have been touching some very unexpected places in his room. For example, here.
There are the picture there. Indeed, multiple handprints appear to be visible.
Well, I wonder. Could he have been appreciating the artwork, perhaps? At first, my colleagues and I thought the same. However, imagine standing with your hands where those prints are, and you would find yourself directly in front of... Ah! I don't believe it. A gas lamp. Though the reason why isn't immediately obvious, it's clear that Mr. Shamspeare has regularly been standing with his hands to the wall in front of that lamp. Right. What have you been up to, you nut? I'd also called to recall juror number 4's earlier statement. Me? What did I say? You said that blowing into a gas pipe would make the lights in the entire building flicker. And now, if you recall juror number 3's statement... What? Me now? When the gas worker who visited his home blew with too much force into the pipe, it caused all the lights and the gas stove to go out, and gas to start leaking into the rooms. Obviously, that incident was an accident. However, the simple fact is... If Mr. Shamspeare were to have blown hard into the gas pipe here in his room, he could have extinguished every other light and gas stove in the building at will. Crikey! Are you suggesting that the man purposefully caused the gas to...
Objection!
Whilst I acknowledge that the prosecution is required to remain silent during the summation examination, I must toast my learned friends' utter disregard for the letter of the law.
What is the meaning of this, Lord Benedicts?
This curious photograph, or whatever it is, presented by the defense, the so-called skin prints. Clearly, that cannot be accepted as any form of usable evidence in this case. But it's an exciting new forensic technique, developed by a great detective. It's nothing. A mere toy developed by an amateur sleuth with too much time on his hands. Ugh!
Certainly, research by the Mr. Sholmes cannot be recognized by the court as formal evidence.
But... Please, my lord, if I may. Mr. Sato, it was not the defense's intention to submit the skin prints as formal evidence. We merely wish to present the results of the great detective's investigation of the scene as a tool by which to explain the possibility to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury. No, I don't think that flies, but we've already, you know what, evidentiary chain has been broken so much in Ace Attorney, it's not even worth harping on about anymore. And if the trial were to come to an end now, We should never learn the truth behind these mysterious handprints that everyone has now seen. I don't believe we can allow that to happen, and I'm sure the jurors would agree. Hold it! You're right. Whether those strange handprints are a significant clue or not, it's down to us to decide. Juror number 3. Oh yes, I do declare, the Great Detective's investigation results sound absolutely fascinating. And I want to hear what that shady actor fellow has to say about those shady handprints. Nate, you know what that is the equivalent of? You know what that what's the equivalent of that was? You ask a very stupid question in front of the jury, and then the other side goes objection, and then you go question withdrawn. As if though you've like put the information out in the room already, and the jury heard it, and they can't not unhear it. But judges hate that sort of thing, and they will sanction you if you do it too often, if you do it too much. And also they will instruct the jury to disregard. That means any information that came out of a withdrawn statement like that does not go into evidence, and is not allowed to be used as actual deciding information for the verdict. Now obviously humans are humans, and you can't unhear what you've already unheard. But if you do that too much, they will just change the jury, and retry and sanction you. And if you do it, and you might get disbarred for that. So showing something and then saying, "Oh, we're not actually submitting it as evidence," that doesn't fly. In real life. I'm just saying. But obviously, far more egregious things have happened in Ace Attorney Court. But I just feel like pointing that out. Basically, what Susato said would not fly. It wouldn't work. But then again, this jury is a silly system anyway, and it's in no way resembling a real jury, so it's all in good fun. What's the matter with you two? That was foolhardy. Oh, I did say it, didn't I? And I don't like to break a promise. No, wait! You heard his lordship. It's not fair to take him evidence. Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo. There's just one more juror she just is on her mind. Mr. Natsume's trial will have to continue. Thank you, Mr. Sato, but I couldn't have done without you. Oh no, it was you who identified the clue, after all. This is very much your success. Oh, he's sweating. Why, Mr. Shamspear? You seem to be losing your composure. Just one more juror, Mr. Naruhodo. You can do it.
Very continue, good sir.
Does anything change now as far as like pressing them?
Hold it!
Oh, the evidence, you see. This new dialogue. It's all pointing at the Japanese man with the big mustache. Says the English man with the bigger mustache. But the defense just demonstrated another possible explanation for the events on the night in question. What do you make of that? What? Your so-called skin prints. It's an exciting new forensic investigation technique, developed by the great detective himself. The numerous handprints on the wall are clearly out of the ordinary. And if Mr. Shamsphere had indeed put his mouth to the gas pipe on the night in question, it can't be denied that there's a possibility that's where the poison was. Well, yes, I won't deny that it's playing on my mind. But as the prosecution rightly says, we should pay no heed to unacceptable forms of evidence. Besides, yes, even if the fellow had been up to some mischief with the gas pipe dozens of times before, it doesn't mean he got up to the same shenanigans on the night in question, does it? Oh. If you can't make your case better than that, I'm afraid I can't change my stance. You do make a very valid point, sir. What? That's true. Perhaps I was a little hasty. No, wait! Look, you've got your chance here, haven't you? So it's time to prove your theory. If you and your Japanese cohorts can, that is. Just leave all nationality out of this, please. There's an Naruhodo. If we can't substantiate our position, I'm afraid the jurors that changed their minds before may very well change them back. What can I do? Is there any more proof I can give you? Good question. Is it the box? The fact that the box was placed there underneath the thing means he was standing on it? Is that the idea? That seems like an assumption to make, but that's the only evidence I have right now, I guess. Can I show them Mr. Shamsi really did blow down the gas pipe on the night in question? I have evidence, it's just not very strong evidence. I guess we could try that first? We also have, we have Sozaki's testimony, yeah, but, I mean, it's not here. So what, we call Sozaki to the stand? Yeah, he said on the night that he was being choked. Can we present that information at this point, though? It's not like he wrote an affidavit. This is completely... Gyarados said the lights are flickering. True. This is weird court procedure though, you know? Whatever this thing is, it's... You know, we're not supposed to introduce new information, right? So how are we allowed to call new witnesses to the stand in the middle of the judicial summary? Like, this doesn't really make sense. This court procedure is completely out of order, but sure. No, in truth, I don't have evidence to support my theory. However, there is witness testimony that substantiates it. That is evidence, Naruhodo-san. Witness testimony and hearsay is evidence. There are kinds of evidence. Is that testimony? This is incredible. Whose testimony? Yes, it's all connected. Everything is linked. The person whose testimony revealed details about the gas in the Gyarados residence that night. Namely... Well... I could probably... Bringing up Natsume seems like a risk since he's the victim, you know, we can't trust him. Gyarados seems like the better choice because he's like an unrelated party, and he's the landlord.
Take that!
So we can use him. Well, Mr. Foreman, does that convince you? Phew, I don't think he was listening. Rest assured... What? Excuse me! It has to be Natsume? Okay, fine. Oh, because Natsume tested... he said it in court. Okay. That makes more sense than calling a new guy up to the stand in the middle of the summation. We're using testimony that already exists on the record. Okay. That makes more sense. I was overthinking it. I was thinking about Ace Attorney levels of wacky nonsense. Completely disregarding court orders, like courtroom procedure order. Like, sure, we can call a new witness in the middle of the summation. Okay, we're using testimony that's already on the record. Alright, fine. Alright, here we go. The music was supposed to stop. Obviously, I'm talking about the defendant, Mr. Soseki Natsume himself. The defendant? At the very beginning of the proceedings here in court yesterday, Mr. Natsume said the following. My lodgings! There's been a whole series of strange happenings in my lodgings. Even on that fateful night it happened. When I returned to Mr. Shamsier's room, I lit my gas stove and climbed into bed, but before long, the stove went out and somebody tried to kill me. On the night in question, the gas in the defendant's room went out. So I asked the court, was that a mere coincidence or not? Good golly. So that Shamsier fellow blew air into the gas pipe to make the man's stove go out on purpose. Now hold your horses there. Why would he do that for? Mr. Foreman! What is it, man? We cannot allow judgment to be passed whilst this doubt remains. It's true that I don't have the conclusive evidence here. However, you must surely agree, there is more to this case than meets the eye. Ah. Fair enough. Like I said at the outset, I'm a man of logic, first and foremost. That's 4 jurors leaning towards not guilty, my lord. We've overturned the decision. Therefore, the defense calls for the trial to continue.
Yes, the defense is rightfully indicated. The submission of jury has concluded with the charges of
My lord, how can thy humble Shamspear serve thee?
What say you in response to the various revelations which are the submission examination?
So God mend me, I do solemnly swear. I recall aught of either, the lamp or the pipe. But your handprints have made a tiny mess all over the wall there. How'd you explain that, eh? I am done with this. The dignity of this great courtroom has been sullied enough already. Juror number 5. Who, me? As I went to some pains to point out already, a printer of the self-professed detective's toy has no place in the British Code of Law. Ah! As such, whether or not this man did indeed stand before the gas lamp with his hands against the wall remains, at this time, unestablished conjecture. You would all do well to remember that. Ah.
Objection!
But the prosecution must concede that it will be extremely simple to verify. Just order the bulb of the gas pipe feeding that lamp in Mr. Shamsier's room to be examined. If there are traces of poison there...
Objection!
What appears to be extremely simple is my Nipponese friend's mind. You will recall that in order to check for the presence of poison in the tea, some remnants of tea were required. Yes? Therefore, it shouldn't be beyond your wit to imagine that even if poison were to have been spread on the pipe, it would have been completely evaporated by now, making any analysis impossible. I didn't think of that.
In any case, sir, apparently we could possibly be motivated by the news he described. Why would this fellow have wanted to blow air to the gas pipe where he lived?
There's only one possibility that I can think of. And that is... to use the leaking gas to commit murder.
Order! Good, sir. Precisely whose left evil was this reported to end?
The answer couldn't be simpler. Now we've unraveled the mystery this far. Mr. Shamsier wanted to end the life of...
Take that!
If a gas lamp were to go out, it would be noticed immediately, of course. But a gas stove, on the other hand, could be silently extinguished by the killer without anyone noticing. I live around these parts myself, so I know what it's like. I can tell you, trying to sleep without the stove lid is pretty much suicide. You freeze to death in no time. Mr. Garrett, the landlord, had a large fireplace in this part of the residence on the top floor. In other words, it wasn't the landlord, but a fellow lodger whose life Mr. Shamsier was trying to end.
Outrageous!
I'm talking, of course, about the defendant. Mr. Natsume isn't a villain in this case. He's the victim this man was trying to murder.
Good gracious!
Objection!
The accused is actually the aggrieved. Interesting. However, the fundamental facts of the case remain unchanged. Namely, that the accused is the aggressor here. What? How can you still claim that? Let us indulge your fancies for a moment and assume that there was indeed poison on the mouth of the gas pipe. The question then arises is who put it there? Who did put it there? The only logical conclusion is that the person responsible was aware of this man's trickery of the gas supply and his intent to kill.
Yes, sure, it is illogical. But if anyone were unaware, how would he have known to list the end of the gas pipe with poison?
So now we must ask, how could anyone have known of Mr. Shamsier's murderous designs? Ah, you mean to suggest? Naturally, the sole possible answer to the question couldn't be more obvious. Only the man whose life was being threatened could possibly have known. What? In other words, the person who put the poison on the gas pipe in what was a clear retaliatory attack can only have been the accused, Mr. Soseki Natsume. Ah! Whatever Mr. William Shamsier may or may not have contrived to do, he was nevertheless the victim of a potentially lethal poison attack. And that only person who could possibly have perpetrated the attack is the accused, Mr. Natsume. The defense counsel's theorizing has failed to avert suspicion from the accused. Far from it. In fact, now that a clear motive for the poisoning has been successfully established, that suspicion is greater than ever. Would you not agree, my Nipponese friend? Ah. Ah! How did you manage to turn that around on me so rapidly? Mr. Naruhodo, you must respond. Otherwise, the members of the jury may very well change their leanings against us again. And this may be our last chance to gain the advantage. What advantage? Well, it would seem that somebody put poison on the gas pipe in Mr. Shamsier's room. So I must name that person now and absolve Mr. Natsume of guilt. You mean, name the true culprit? I know it might sound impossible, but if you fail to do that, I have no doubt that Mr. Natsume's fate will be sealed once and for all. As it happens, one possible culprit does come to mind. The evidence, the poison, it's all pointing to a particular person now. The prosecution calls to the jury to consider their leanings again. I trust you'll make the correct choice this time, Mr. Foreman. What? Oh, don't you worry. You know exactly what... Yeah, there's only one possible person here. There is one other person, who I believe could have been involved in all of this. The true culprit of this crime.
The true culprit!
A term found only in second-rate novels featuring third-rate Greek detectives, my Nipponese friend. But why not? This farce has gone on for so long already, I see no reason to cut it short before its disappointing climax. Thank you. Tell us, my learned Nipponese friend, what is your latest theory? Who is the so-called true culprit of this crime? It is Iris Watson, age 10!
Take that!
The name of the person responsible for the poison that afflicted Mr. Shamsier is, I believe, Miss Olive Green.
Miss Olive Green. Miss Olive Green. I never heard that name in the recent past, Council. I don't recall where.
Miss Olive Green. The woman from 6 days ago. The victim in the recent case of stabbing on Briar Road. An incident for which Mr. Natsume was arrested, I hasten to add.
Oh, of course, yes, Miss Green. She was not come across her some 3 days ago, but I hear she gained consciousness 3 days ago.
And I hardly need remind the court that Mr. Shams's poisoning took place 3 days ago. Given that the woman was lying comatose in a hospital bed at the time, she appears to have a rather fine alibi. True, on the night that the incident occurred, Miss Green was in hospital, unconscious. So on the face of it, it would seem that she couldn't possibly be responsible. But still. My colleagues and I visited Miss Green in hospital yesterday, and we found her to be in possession of a bottle of poison.
Good gracious, she had poison.
And there is another fact that links Miss Green to this case as well. The defense requests that she be brought to the witness stand in order to explain the details to the court.
Tell me, Mr. Sheriff.
My lord, pray what be thy bidding?
Are you acquainted with Miss Green?
Eh? No, never heard of her. Judging by the look on Mr. Shamspier's face, I think perhaps he genuinely doesn't know her. At least, not by name. As the voice of Her Majesty's prosecution here, I adhere to my word. We will see my London Bunny's friends fast through to its conclusion. I appreciate that. The prosecution requests a short recess, my lord, in order to subpoena the witness and bring her here.
Yes, it's all green.
Indeed, my lord. 1 hour should be sufficient.
I got the request.
Excellent. I hope.
The defense has made a most extraordinary accusation, I must say. But at the present time, I'm afraid the prosecution's argument remains largely uncontested. Accordingly, I'm afraid the defendant is coming to remain the sole subject of this court's attention. Thank you, counsels. You can reconvene in 1 hour. Court is adjourned.
Oh, to be continued. Okay. Whew. So we're gonna be calling Olive Green back to the stand, and then we're gonna be getting to the bottom of this mystery, eh? Alright, chat. This ended up being a bit of a shorter session than usual, I guess, but usually when they have these breaks, it usually means that the next section may range from like an hour to 2 hours, so in order to not go too late tonight and like have to end at an awkward time, I think we'll call it at that for now. But we'll be back very soon, and yeah, we'll be seeing this exciting trial to its conclusion. I'll see you guys around soon then. Peace.